Tuesday training is something that I think will probably hit home for a lot of you, but it's all about what happens to your body and how it responds when we are in diet mode. So when you're going to eat less calories, how is your body responding and how can that impact what your long-term goals are? Because you might be surprised when you find out what's actually happening and how it may be getting you further away from where you want to go. So the purpose of this training is so you all realize that there is a cost and a toll that takes on your body when you're in constant diet mode. I think you probably feel it every time that you are, but it's just a good reminder to know exactly what's happening. And there are so many reasons why we should not stay in constant diet mode. And I want to make you aware of all those reasons so that you can make an educated decision about what the next best thing is for you. Statistics show that 45% of women on any given day are on a diet. So this hits home and resonates for a lot of us because a lot of us feel like the only way we can get to our longer term goals is just to eat less calories and then let our body respond to it and keep doing it until we potentially can get to that number that we're looking for, or we just feel better, whatever it may be. So let's review exactly what's happening to your body when you're eating less calories in order to lose weight. So the first thing is a decreased metabolic rate. So just to review, what's a metabolic rate? So that is the calories that we burn at rest. This is the majority of calories that we burn in a day, 60% of them to be exact. So what happens is when we have a higher metabolism, we burn more calories at rest. When I say by calories at rest, I mean just like internal processes, your heart beating, your brain function, your blood circulating, all those types of things. So when we burn more calories at rest, we have a higher metabolism. When we burn less calories at rest, we have a lower metabolism. So our goal for dieting in general is that we want to have a higher metabolism, but what actually happens is we're down regulating our metabolic rate. And so let's talk about the science behind this. When we consume less calories, our bodies don't have as much calories or energy to work with. So they usually take the calories in and then say, here, they delegate it out for all the different internal processes. But when it has less to work with, it has less functionality it can take. So it has to pick and choose what it's going to do, and then other things get put on the back burner and get left behind. This is why in diet mode, we feel exhausted. We have brain fog, that we have all of these like emotional and physical strains that we don't have before, just because our body doesn't have the calories to support those normal functions. So first thing being our metabolic rate, essentially our metabolism is being downregulated. Next thing is our hormones take a huge toll, specifically 4 different hormones that we're going to talk about: T3, leptin, testosterone, and cortisol. So let's talk briefly about each of them. T3 is created from our thyroid, and it plays a huge role in our metabolic rate, so essentially our metabolism. It also plays roles in like our heart and digestion, our muscle control. It plays so many different functions. And when we're on a diet, it's actually downregulating our thyroid function. So if you know anything about the thyroid, that's a huge part that controls whether we can or cannot lose weight. So that plays a big role. The next thing is leptin. Leptin is our satisfaction hormone. So whenever we want to get that satisfaction from food, so we don't binge everything out in the pantry, that we want to feel like we're satisfied, like we're full. And so leptin plays a huge role in how we feel about food. It also turns the switch on and off for our metabolic rate. So that's really important here, because when they turn off our metabolic rate, our metabolism is downregulated again. And so we're feeling increased appetite because we're hungry and not satisfied. We also have reduced motivation with it, and we're burning less calories at rest. So that's leptin. The next thing being testosterone. Testosterone is still really important for females here. If you're not having enough testosterone, you will absolutely feel like you don't have enough testosterone. It naturally downgrades as we get older. So it's something that we have to always pay attention to and always be working towards increasing it. So for testosterone, it plays a big role in so many different things, mainly maintaining muscle mass that we have. Without it, we experience muscle loss. It also plays a big role in hunger. It plays a big role in potentially lower sex drive, exhaustion, and again, lower metabolic rate with it, so lower metabolism. And then the last one that takes a huge toll is cortisol, which you've probably heard a lot about. It's our stress hormone. So when we're in diet mode, our bodies are thrown into fight or flight. They're constantly higher elevated cortisol, constantly stressed out. So what happens is our body is trying so hard to fight the high stress that all other functions are kind of put on the back burner, including like translating carbs and fats for energy. And so sometimes they're stored as fat instead. All those types of things are working against us. It's also really hard to bring the body back to a state of like calmness and homeostasis because the elevated stress levels are so high to be in constant diet mode. So you can tell just from these 4 hormones that there is a common theme here. All of them cause our metabolic rate and our metabolism to decrease. And adaptation for these happens quickly, like within 7 days of going on a diet and restricting calories. So the important thing to note here is that the longer that we are in a diet, the slower our metabolism is going to get, which is the opposite of what we need for long-term goals of weight loss and fat loss. This doesn't even take into account the physical and mental strain that dieting long-term can take on you. It is a mental game of potentially restricting yourself, telling yourself you're not going to eat this, denying yourself when you're hungry, telling yourself like, I can do this constantly without the physical support, the energy needed to give you a boost of energy, to sleep better, to control your hunger, all those types of things. But you don't have the physical benefits that you need in order to fight that off. So it's a mental game. It's a physical game. It takes a toll on every single aspect of your body. So now you're thinking, okay, what if dieting does this? Like, how do I get there? How do I lose the weight? And there are strategic ways to do this. And it's something, this is how I work with all of my clients. And it's really important to implement these types of things so that your metabolism does not adapt. So the first thing that you need to do in order to do this is we have to boost our metabolism. How do we boost our metabolism? We have to spend time out of diet mode. We have to be eating more. We have to prioritize quality food. We have to move more throughout the day. We have to fidget more, just be active, all those types of things. We have to eat a higher amount of calories to support our metabolism function because we need to get our metabolism highly boosted before we go into weight loss mode so that we can minimize adaptation. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there should always be a diet plan as far as how many weeks you're going to do it for. It should not be, I'm going to stay here until I reach a goal weight. That is going to cause so many adaptations and you're going to be miserable along the way. So we say, hey, we're going to get in and we're going to get out. And while we're in there, we're going to do a couple of different things like carb cycling or other things that can help to offset adaptations. There's going to be times of diet breaks. There's going to be times of eating more, all those types of things in order to offset the diet. It's just important to realize all these different things are imperative in order to set our bodies up to get out of diet mode and to boost our metabolism so that our body can properly respond.